Welcome. In this video, we are going to be looking at the improved calculator app that we built earlier. So this is an improved version using functions, which we have learned before. So in this video, we are going to take a lot of the lessons that we've learned over this course and apply them into making this app. So this calculator app is going to have separate functions for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. It will also find the power, the modulus, and also do integer division. The app will take input from the user. It will ask the user which operation wants to perform, and then it will print the result out. Then after that, it will also ask the user if they have finished or they have more work to do. We'll also put Doscstings and maybe some comments just where needed. Remember, we say what functions are. A function is just like a group of you group together a particular block of codes so that you can reuse them later without needing to write all the codes again. So grouping them into one block, and then you can reuse them later. So this is our calculator. So this is where it starts from. So it just prints what it is, a simple calculator app. So the first function defined here is the addition function, the add, with two parameters, x and y. And what does it do? It returns x plus y. There's a docstring here saying what it does, adds two numbers. Then we have the next function, subtract, x, y as the parameters. And what it does is it subtracts two numbers. So it returns the value of x minus y. So the same thing here, multiply, does the same thing, it multiplies two numbers, x, y. For the division, it divides two numbers. And then the modulus, it does modular division. And then the power, it raises x to the power of y. And then for integer division, it does integer division as well. So these are the functions for the operations that we are going to have. So about 7 operations here that we are going to use with this calculator app. The next function or block is we want to check if the user has finished after the result has been printed out, if he has finished or he wants to continue. So this function is called check if user has finished. That's the name of the function. So the docstring says it checks that the user wants to finish or not. Perform some verification of the input. So the first line here, OK to finish, we set it as true. So it's a Boolean, OK to finish. Then user input accepted, false, you set it initially as false. So that's how you initialize it. So you now go into a while loop, because you want it to continue till the user actually says, I'm done. So, but as long as the user says, doesn't say I'm done, you should always ask this question after it has finished. So we put a while loop. So while user input accepted, so we said while not user input accepted. No, it was false here. Then what is the user input? You are going to ask, do you want to finish? Yes or no, y or n. So if the user inputs y, that's yes, then user input accepted turns true. And then, or else if the user inputs no or n, then OK to finish becomes false. And then user input accepted becomes true. Or else, if they enter something else instead of y or n, you get a message saying response must be y or n. Please try again. Then it will return OK to finish. So it returns it back again to back here. Then the next function we have is we want to get the choice of the operation the user wants to work on. So here we have input OK, false. So you initialize it with that boolean. Why not input okay? So that's if it's not, if the input is okay. So it now prints. The main options are print, 1, add, 2, subtract, 3, multiply, 4, divide, 5, modulus, 6, power, 7, integer division. Then it prints a line. So user selection. So it that's why it's not as a user. Input, make a selection. So if user selection in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's if any of these strings 1 to 7 here is imputed, that means it's a correct input. So the input is okay. Else, if it's not between them, if it's not between, if it's not in this list, if it's not in this tuple, then you now say invalid input. So that's now. So if this, or else it prints invalid input, it must be between 1 to 7. Then it will now return to the user selection again for user to try again. Then the next function is the number from the user, because we're adding 2 numbers. So number 1 is a float, because we set it in case we don't know what the user is going to input. Input first number. So we take that input from the user, input second number, and then it will return the 2 numbers. Here we are confirmed that you are inputting this function here is an integer input that comes in. So it will check it. If it's not numeric, it will print the message. It will just to be sure that we are putting a numeric number. Then in the finished, if it's not finished, then this is where the results come. So menu choice, get operation choice. So you have your 2 numbers. So if menu choice is 1, so the result will now call function add. Remember our function at the beginning, add. It adds n, n1 and n2. So if the menu is 1, it chooses 1, then it calls this function here, which is add x, return x plus y, subtract. So if it's function, if it's else if it's 2, it does the subtraction. It calls the function for subtract. Else if it's 3, it calls this function for multiply. Else if it's 4, divide. If it's 5, modulus. Else if it's 6, power. If it's 7, then it does the integer division. So, and then it will print the result. So result, then whatever the result is. So result is one of these options. Then it will now check if user has finished. Then it will now run the function to check if the user has finished, which is this function. So it will now call this function at that point. If the user says he wants to finish, then it's finished. If not, it will start again. It will go back, ask for input from the user. But if the user has finished, it will say print by. So that is our calculator app. So let's just try 1 or 2 examples and see what happens. So we just run the program. Okay, maybe I should let me just reduce this so it looks a bit like an actual. So let me just stop it and run it again. So run. So this is what it prints here. A simple calculator app. Main options are 1, add, 2, subtract, 3, multiply, 4, divide, 5, modulus, 6, power, 7, integer division. Please make a selection. So I'm going to select 1. So it says input the first number. So let's say 2. Input the second number, 3. So we've now chosen to do addition, and we have put in our first number as 2, our second number as 3. This should give us 5, I think, I hope. So the result is 5. So I'm giving 5. So that next, do you want to finish? So if I choose no, so n, what happens now? So it starts over again. So main options are, it's asking me main options. So add, subtract, multiply, divide, modulus, power, integer. So maybe this time around I'll choose to take the power. So 6. Input first number. So let's say 2, input second number 3. So 2 to the power 3, which should be 8. So it gives 8. So okay to finish. Maybe this time around I'm done. So I can just say yes. Y. If I answer Y, what happens? So it prints by, and then it exits the code. So that is our app in a nutshell. So we have improved the app by using functions, and now it looks more, it's like a bit more professional now because of the functions we using functions. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll see how I can answer that. Thank you very much.